97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios yard number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Salom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Akosia Oche.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes, over 5,000 houses at Kaswa earmarked for demolition following court order to evict encroachers on Millennium City Estate lands. Bring you more on this later. Also on Eyewitness News, Public Service Workers Union at the Ghana Airport Company Limited accused board chair Paul Adomotri of scheming to get their MD, Pamela Jamson Tete, out of office. We'll speak to both parties to see where really the matter lies. Still on Eyewitness News, National Buffer Stock Company Limited food suppliers besiege company premises to demand payment of their arrears. We'll bring you more on this as the bulletin wears on. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Players in car rental business push for removal of taxes on vehicle rental services in the face of current economic challenges.
there is more business in the next 50 minutes. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on these stories and others on Eyewitness News. And the bulletin is also live across the country on all our affiliates and around the globe at citynewsroom.com. It's live in the Western region on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky Power 93.5 FM, both in Takrady. In the Bono region, we are live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani and Hames Radio 106.5 FM in Goso in the Ahafo region. In Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi, Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are live on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajepu and Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in the northern region. We are in the Upper East region on Tanga 93.7 FM in Bogatanga, Tunsong 97.3 FM in Wa, and Jirapa 96.1 FM, both in the Upper West region. Akosia gives us our first story.
Now, plans are underway to demolish over 5,000 housing units in Millennium City due to encroachment activities. The initial phase involves marking the structures, with the actual demolition set to follow soon. The developer has enlisted the assistance of over 100 police officers from the Central East Police Command to mark the units.
All right, let's hit the phone lines and speak to the developer at the Millennium City in Kaswa in the Central region to understand this story properly. Hello, and his Kofi Asma. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What is the genesis of this matter? You were in court. Who were the defendants in the matter?
Come again.
Yes, I'm saying we just want to trace, the matter from where it started. Who were the defendants in this matter? You know, you've secured a court order to demolish some 5,000 buildings in the Millennium City area, we understand. And we're asking, who were the defendants in the case?
The defendants, of course, I don't have their name right now. I don't have it. But we got some names, person coaches. But as I'm speaking, I'm in the house. So I don't have the documents with me.
I see. So when did you get this court order?
Oh, about a year ago.
And what did the order say?
The order is saying I should take possession for the property. It's my property which I've sold to an individual. And this landers have been real, selling to another people. So I have to go and support my client. Because you cannot take a property that doesn't belong to you.
Well, what is the size? What is the size of the land we are dealing with?
Well, that's 165 acres.
165 acres.
Yeah.
And on this 165 acres, you have over 5,000 houses.
Oh, no, I'm doing gradually. You know, this is the first phase. So all the encroachers that we have encroached the company's land, they are in court. I think a lot of them to court. So anyone, the judgment that will come, then I have to make action. So this 165 is the judgment that you have. So we are waiting for another judgment.
I see.
All our layout, school plot, everything we have destroyed. We have destroyed it. So you cannot sit down and let this be going on.
I see. Just so we are clear, are you the grantor to the estate company, or you are the estate? You are a director of the estate company yourself?
Yes, I'm the director of the company itself.
Okay, so where did you acquire the land from?
I acquired my land from Fetters too.
I see. So is there a rival claimant to the land you have?
But you know, for Ghana here, everybody just wake up and go and put his hand inside the chief. I'm not fighting. My landlord is not fighting with me. My landlord doesn't have anything to do with me. They are behind me. They support me day and night.
I see. So all these 5,000, households. So I presume about 5,000 persons, acquired the land from the same grantor, not your grantor. They all acquired it from the same source.
That's what I don't know. I'm fighting my own. So I don't know where they are coming from. I don't know.
I see. I thought you would know, because that would help, or maybe that helped in the success of your case. Perhaps the court determined that your route of title was better than theirs. So they should state or cite a route of title for which the court would make a decision between yours and theirs. So I'm just thinking, maybe you don't have that detail, those details, readily available.
No, I said the land, I acquired the land generally for these two. So anyone who is trying to fight with me, he will go to court and the judge will decide. I cannot say that. I cannot determine. Me, I'm fighting my own.
I see. So after you secured the judgment, did you take steps to serve all these 5,000, households?
No. We are not trying to do more 5,000 now. It's not 5,000 now. We are doing it step by step. There's the first 163 acres. That's what we are fighting now. Then we are planning, or we are trying to get everybody who has been close the company land out. But it's not now. The one we are fighting now is not 5,000.
Okay, so how many houses have you earmarked for possible demolition now?
I cannot say. I haven't counted, but I will do in phases. You see, and you know that one. You know that one of the annoying, to make the road, the layout, they have destroyed. We have destroyed the whole layout. Schools, shops, hospitals, they have destroyed. Fine. So you don't want Ghana to be a one beautiful country. Are we still doing this thing? Zongo and everywhere.
I see. So did you take steps to inform or serve these houses you are seeking to demolish at the court order, so they know that there's this judgment secured against them?
Yes, you did. You served them. Every house. One plot. They can divide about 5. One plot. 80 by 100. This land guy will get. See, the people are from Niger. They're from Burkina and Mali. They're not Ghanaians. So when they build one house, they go and bid their people and come and occupy the house. And you can't allow that. I've said for Burkina before and Mel before. You can't encroach Burkina or their layout. You can't. Look at that. The president has made so many laws to support it. But when you report, they will tell you from above. What do you want the president to do now? He has to make a law to protect free developers. They are not happy government. They are not supporting the president. So why? The best is to go to court and do our own thing. There's a law. There's a law now, land laws now, which are signed by the president. So you don't want Ghana to become one of the beautiful places. That is the one, those who are saying are they from heaven? I don't know Ghanaians. Why don't they allow us to do another thing for another place? You said them, you want them several times. They didn't mind. When you go on the phone, nobody will support you.
But when you serve them, did some of them approach you to have you regularize their documents for them?
None.
So what are they saying now? They are begging you?
At the moment, I have not seen anybody. They are begging me to make to cross the road, the layout, the Citi FM. When we are going to office, if the road has been closed, can you go there?
I see. So when did you acquire this land?
Oh no, 1996.
And when did the people start encroaching on the land?
The people.
Yes.
The actual date, I don't know. And the actual date, I don't know. But it's more than 10 years now.
And what were you doing whilst they were encroaching the land, or you were not around?
If you go on the port but you don't get support, what do you want me to do?
I see. Thank you so much. Kofi Asma, developer at the Millennium City Estates in Kaswa in the Central Region. He secured a court judgment, which now orders him to evict the people from his land. He said he has 163 acres of land in the area that has been encroached upon, and so he carried out some execution today, marking some houses he says he will demolish. We've not cited a copy of the judgment. We are making efforts to cite that judgment, but it does appear that the execution had the backing of the court, the registrar of the court, or the sheriff of the court, and police, and all the persons involved in such executions. We're also making efforts to speak to some of the affected in respect of what their position will be, whether they will want to regularize or whether they may even want to appeal the matter. That is, if the time for appealing the case has not elapsed. But we will try and get to some of them and understand really the matters from their point of view as well. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Some more stories.
The Informal Waste Workers Association is urging the government to engage in discussions with them to find ways of regulating their operations instead of imposing a complete ban on their activities. The Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council recently announced a ban on tricycle operators within specific areas of Accra to address traffic congestion. The informal waste workers, who also use tricycles to transport waste, argue that the ban will have adverse effects on their livelihoods. The General Secretary of the association, Max Jumbo, conveyed their concerns to the media.
I want to throw a challenge. If Ghana, Greater Accra, want to be clean and neat and healthy for all of us, the government should sit down with us. If they want, they should give us just 8 months. Let them give us full operation in Greater Accra here, and they will never see any PET bottles, plastic waste anywhere. What we are doing now, we don't have franchise agreements with any municipality, just some few. The former contractors have it. And what we are doing is more or less like illegal. We are operating illegally. But we take more than 70% of the total waste from Greater Accra. What will happen if we are given the full opportunity to operate? What will happen if we are sacked from the mainstream? It simply means Greater Accra is going to be filthy, it's going to be unhealthy for all of us to live in. And that is the problem we are facing.
Are you going to hold on till you end conversations with the...
We are not holding on. We are still working. Until he comes, we are working. Because we can't stop. That is what we do to feed our people. That is what we do to feed ourselves. And until the authorities come to us or they agree to meet us, we are ready to meet them. And then we discuss the way forward. Until then, we are still working. We are still on the grounds.
You hear the General Secretary of the Informal Waste Workers Association, Max Jumbo. Now, the Public Sector Workers Union of the Ghana Airport Company Limited are accusing the board chairman of the company, Paul Adom Autry, of scheming to remove their managing director, Pamela Jamson Tete. The workers allege that the motive is due to her refusal to align with him on some decisions concerning the company.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's speak to the General Secretary of the Public Service Workers Union at the Ghana Airport Company Limited to actually understand why they have this position. Hello, Bernard AJ. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What really is your concern with the board chairman?
All right. Thank you very much, my brother. Good evening to you and your listeners. And thank you for the opportunity to clarify some of these issues. So I'm the General Secretary of the Public Services Workers Union, and the Ghana Airport Company happens to be one of us. So the letter you've seen was authored by our executives at the Ghana Airport Company Limited. And as you have rightly said, they have picked up some signals that there seem to be to remove the MD. So that is why they have raised such concerns. It came to my attention 2 days ago. From what has gone on so far, the board chair has come out to indicate that there is nothing of such sort. And we want to take him by his word. If there's nothing of sort, then of course there's nothing for the workers to worry about. But the reason why the workers, because for some time now, until the arrival of the current MD, we have not known peace at the place. There's been one problem or the other issues, operational issues that were not being asked. They have to staff welfare and conditions of service issues. We had a lot of visitations at the airport, and you remember it even led to action. Since the current MD assumed office, we have worked together. She has worked with the union, and we've been able to bring some stability. And therefore, when the workers started hearing rumors, I think they got a bit agitated and wanted also, their leaders wanted to calm them down. And I believe that is what resulted in this letter. But since then, as I indicated, I've heard the board chair come out to flatly deny and indicate that there's nothing of such a sort. I have also engaged my executives at the Ghana Airport Company. Their fears have been allayed because everybody likes to work with a good boss. I feel that they have someone who in the interest of the company and their welfare as staff as well, and they will want support whatever efforts and plans that are being put in place. So that is the situation as of now.
Yeah, but the letter that the union, your union authored, is quite vague. They only say that the board chair is scheming to remove her because she's refusing to play ball, whatever that means. So, I mean, it's difficult to even progress the discussion because there is nothing contained in this particular letter or statement issued by your people. So you just threw out the board chairman's name that he's saying that the MD is not playing ball, and so for that reason, you guys think that he's scheming to remove the lady. That is quite vague and maybe quite reckless, isn't it?
Well, that is your view position on it, and of course, every organization have some form of internal way of dealing with their issues and the rest. you realize that this communication was not actually directed to the media or general public. It was meant, or it's a communication to their membership. But of course, we live in a day and age that every communication becomes a public or an issue for public discourse or discussion. So I can understand where you are coming from. But of course, if it has not come out like this, it wouldn't also happen. So I would say that labor, most of the times when workers get agitated about something, tend to express their frustrations in different ways. That's why we are also leadership. Since it got to my attention, as I indicated, I have come to try to do what we have to do. And I think the engagement is always good. And through that engagement, we have come, certain things have also been exposed that, look, whatever it is you are thinking or what made you to put out this, it is not as it is. And I think that is the solution we want, and we will continue to, as we have always done. Yeah.
Or is it a case that the MD, Mrs. Pamela Jamson Tete, has complained to the union executives about, certain schemes allegedly being put together by the board chair to oust her?
All right. So thank you very much for this question. I can tell you on authority that the information I have and from my executives, Mrs. Jamson Tete has not said anything to them. Personally, also, she has not said anything to me about this or about any issue between her and the board or the board chair or any other thing. The leadership of that airport also have their own means of getting information and sources. Just as the media, you also have your own means of getting your information. If you get an information, information you got is not the true picture. I think as well-meaning, we come out and we accept the official position that has been given. That clarifies the issue, and then we all go back and do our work. So I would not want to attribute or say it is Mrs. Jamson because she has not come to me. My executives have confirmed to me also that she has not spoken to them. They didn't hear anything from her, but they also have their own means and sources of getting information. And if this one not to be what it is, fine. In fact, in the past, they have through the same means gotten some information which during the earlier troubles we had at the airport, which turned out to be true. So you cannot really blame them. They got some information. It turns out that the information they got is not what it is. Thank God, then airport is at peace. There's no disturbance, and it's infrastructure. We have highly security zone, and we also, as a union, want there to be peace and for the workers to be able to deliver, and for the company also to work hard to achieve of becoming the preferred aviation hub in the sub-region and in the world.
I see. So Mrs. Pamela Jamson Tete hasn't spoken to them about her challenges with the board. So it is just, their independent reading of the situation that pushed them to issue this statement addressed to the staff.
Definitely. That is the information I have as of now.
I see. But have you, as one of the union leaders of the Public Service Workers Union, engaged the board to see if there's any such scheme as being alleged?
Well, thank you very much. As I indicated, there are certain things disclosed on air, but I can assure you that I have had some engagements. I'm currently not in Accra. I'm working outside Accra, but I've had some engagements, and definitely when I arrive in Accra, maybe physically we can have, because what we want is peace at the place. But the good thing is that situation has been clarified. There is nothing like that. Workers, go back and do your work. Management, go back and do your work. And then everybody is at peace. For me, as a labor leader, that is important for me. So whatever we need to do immediately to that there are no disturbances at the airport, we have done to the best of our and yes, definitely. But please understand me. There are, as to who I've spoken to or what I've done, unfortunately, I cannot put out those information on air. Thank you very much.
Very well. But before you go, so the fact of you responding to this interview and agreeing to speak to the press statement obviously means that per your own independent review of the situation, you found some truth in the position of the union leaders.
No, but agreeing to this, once it comes to the media, it's also an issue so that the wrong or the intentions of the workers are not construed. So my agreeing to this interview is also to allay the fears of the public and also indicate that, yes, indeed, the workers wrote this based on some intel they got. First, for all of us, it so happens that that is not the true picture. So everything is fine at the airport. There's no problem at the airport. The workers are working and doing whatever they can do to support the growth and development of the airport. And for me, once it has come out in the public domain, we need to make sure that we set.
I see.
Everybody understands that there's peace at the airport.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bernard Ejay, General Secretary of the Public Service Workers Union at the Ghana Airports Company Limited, for speaking to us on this. Now let's speak to the board chairman himself, Paul Adomotri, board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, to hear his side of the story as well. Hello, good evening, Mr. Adomotri. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Is everything well at the Ghana Airports Company Limited?
Well, I've just been listening to your beautiful conversation with the union leader. He says, one, they put out a statement, and then the statement alleged wrongdoing, smeared the name of the board chairman that he's doing something inimical to the company's interest. That's the first statement. Second statement, they found out that the point they issued is not true, and that there's peace, there's no problem at the airport. Never mind that they've smeared the name of the board chairman anyway, but they say it's not true. Third, you ask him that, okay, let's try and find out where did you get this information from. There are two protagonists in the document, the board chairman and the managing director. You have not spoken to the board chairman. The managing director has not complained about the thing that you people alleged in the letter. So who told them? I think this is a point where the investigation would have to start in terms of where did the union get their information, which they themselves are now admitting to be wrong.
Is that from their independent reading of the situation?
Yes, so from the independent reading of the situation has now changed. So they read the situation independently and thought that board chairman is doing something inimical. Then they get into the details and they find that it's not correct. So he's telling you that there's no problem. What they found was not correct. He doesn't say anything about their attempts to smear the board chairman's name without any provocation. No information, no letter, no meeting, no concrete anything, absolutely nothing. And you put this out, somebody must have told them. And so we have to get to the grand agenda that is being waged against the board chairman or somebody like that. I don't understand. Because somebody must have told them something. If nobody told them anything. And out of their independent reading, it turns out that their independent reading is perhaps a figment of their own imagination, as they seem to be suggesting now. Then we have some little investigations to do. But the story is not true. We have said it's not true many, many times. And I told your reporter that, so they can tell me where they get the information from or what is the basis of the conclusion. However, next week is very busy for the airports because there's an opening of one of the infrastructure. So everyone is busy. But I'm sure by Tuesday I would have met with them and try and understand. That's my first reaction. Let me meet with them and understand what they are saying because I really don't understand it.
But how has your relationship with the managing director, Pamela Jamson-Tete, been over the last few weeks or months? When was the last time you met her or interacted with her?
I interacted with her today. Almost every day we talk. We've had 2 board meetings last week. All the board members were there.
And when you interacted with her today, did this matter come up? Had you heard the matter before your interaction with her? And did it come up?
No, when the matter came up on, when was it? 2 days ago, she sent me a text that there is an issue that we need to meet about. The union have published something. So I asked her to send me the copy. She didn't send it immediately, and we didn't talk again because then the conversation went to the minister, the deputy minister, and others. So that's how it ended. And then today we spoke about our normal office issues, what should be done, and stuff like that. So I don't know. And as I'm saying, there were 2 board meetings last week. One of them attended by the deputy minister, and there was no problem.
So after she sent you the document, the matter went to the minister, deputy minister, etc. You guys didn't revert to that discussion anymore.
We haven't not because it appears that no one. The conversation was about who spoke to the union, who told them, where are they getting the information from. By the time the conversations went around, it turned out that all the key protagonists said, "I have not spoken to union." So then that's why I said then there has to be some investigation as to who engaged them.
I see. You know what
signals they found? What was the signal? At least what did they find? Did they find a signal somewhere that suggests something to them? What's the signal?
You know how we say it's sometimes in Ghana that there's no smoke without fire, and judging from what happened in the case of Mr. Cocker, not directly related to you, but there were rumors that he was going to be ousted, etc. And true to that rumor, later we realized that he was ousted. So perhaps they are picking the same signals again. That is why they may have issued this statement.
Oh yes, but that is those signals can only be picked from the quarters of the appointing authority. Because I don't have any power over the MD. I was appointed just like she was appointed.
But Paul, you're board chair.
Yes, but the board chair doesn't do anything with appointing or removing the MD. The appointing authorities are in Jubilee, the minister and the president, chief of staff, and the minister.
But the board chair can make a representation about the conduct or work of the MD for the consideration of the appointing authority.
Oh, if the board chairman makes such a recommendation, I'm sure that the MD will be called. And the board chairman will be called as well. That's the normal way I see things being resolved in these matters. The MD will be called, the board chairman will be called. That will be the first thing that will happen. So if that has happened, and somebody has told the unions, I don't know that has happened. As far as I'm concerned, nothing like that has happened. I've not complained. We have not been called. Nothing like that. So if that were to happen, and somebody tells the unions, then the union can say, oh, we understand that this and this happened, or this meeting. That's what I'm asking them for. Do they have something, some signal, anything? Maybe they say one day you came, you parked your car, and you saw him there, you didn't greet us, or something like that, some signal. But if we can't find any signal, then what they did was wrong.
Very well. So as far as you're concerned, and finally, you are assuring us that there is no such bad blood, there's no such issue between yourself and the MD, for which reason the union will be concerned that the MD could be sacked or ousted from power.
Unless they can find one and tell me. As far as I know, there's nothing.
Very well. Thank you so much, Paul Adumotri, board chairman of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, speaking to us on Eyewitness News. We'll take a short break, return, and do more. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Your Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes and I want to father, my sanaba. My mini papa and you're not for more fear no more acquaintum. Should be Bianya so a manisca coffee and fancy that near fear for a bit for Jawisi no parking. A bear man Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how to your nature. Sukasa Sia Dan Brony friend affordable luxury homes, or more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, where you're fully gated or grants and communities, or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. Almost our flexible payments, and yeah, no my dear Dal Casa, plus plus 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick one-answer stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie's social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susie at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Some of the messages that have come through here. John Natet in Koforidua says, wow, over 5,000 houses to go down. So how did these individuals get access to the parcel of land with registered documents and above all building permits from the relevant authorities? Or none of the household is having a land document and building permits? This is very strange indeed. This other one, Alan from Chantan, says, but why were they allowed to build in the first place in respect of, the Kaswa story? Jones Adoboy in La says, good evening, Salam. This is a serious issue. The government has to step in immediately to avoid the demolition. I would not be surprised that somebody also appear from nowhere and lay claim to the same land, Accra land, so headaches. We'll go to Akosia for some more stories.
Now, the Member of Parliament for New Joburg South, Michael Otrebefi, has stated that he will not be deterred by a planned protest organized by some concerned residents over the poor state of roads in Koforidua. The advocacy group, Koforidua Development Advocates, is scheduled to hold a protest following a report by Citi News highlighting the deteriorating condition of roads in the area. In an interview with Citi News, Michael Otrebefi expressed confidence that the roads will be repaired.
Everybody can see that Koforidua is changing. The infrastructure is being developed. The contractor is on course constructing the asphalt. The asphalt work is on course. Everybody can see it. So far, they've done about 15 kilometers roads out of the 35. I believe that we are on course. We'll fix almost all the roads here. And under contractor just more is coming. And we are sure, as I said the other time, the one constructing the Nyamikrum and Abugri also receive monies very soon for them to go back to site. So I don't want to follow any propaganda or any politically induced people who want to satisfy their own whims and caprices, because if there's developer, I don't know why there's any for demonstration. In any case, I've only been an MP for 2.5 years. These roads have been bad, has deteriorated badly since 10 years ago. When NDC was in power, what did they do? They didn't do anything about it, but we have shown commitment and we're working on it. So I guess we will do our best and then leave the rest to God to be the judge.
Michael Otrebefi is Member of Parliament for New Joburg South. Meanwhile, the convener of the group, Komla Agbodo-Godsway, says the police have been notified to provide protection during the protest.
We have notified the police and they haven't responded. They don't need to tell you go on demonstration or don't go. Theirs is to give you personnel to protect you. You see, the Public Order Act is very clear. They may frustrate you to serve the political elite, but hey, we are only exercising our constitutional right, our democratic right to demonstrate. I am on my way to Zongo to give their banner to them. Nyamikum will receive its banner this morning. I'm spreading it. You watch. God is our strength. All we are doing is asking for our share of the national cake. And I'm not sure we are asking too much. Our luta continua.
Komla Agbodo-Godsway is convener for a group of residents who would want to protest tomorrow in the New Joburg South community, a constituency rather in the eastern region. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has defended its decision to disconnect power to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly due to a 300,000 cedi debt. The Accra East Region Local Task Force took this step after failed negotiations and attempts to enforce payment. External Communications Manager of the ECG, Leila Bobakari, clarified that the disconnection was a last resort.
As part of Operation Zero, we have our staff on ground going to businesses and residences to recoup revenue for the company. Even though the main focus for Operation Zero is to get more customers onto our database, we also take the opportunity to look out for illegal connections and also those who owe ECG. So AMA on our account owed an amount just over 300,000 Ghana cedis. And so the team that were in charge of that particular area in the Makola district went there to speak to the authorities or the management about how they intended to pay ECG that amount. But I think that there were some issues with regards to understanding each other, that is between ECG and the AMA. And so at the end of the day, we had to disconnect them, which also led in some further altercations. But the update from that is they've been reconnected because we have agreed on the payment plan with AMA.
Leila Bubakar, External Communications Manager for the Electricity Company of Ghana. Now, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCC, has attributed the harassment faced by members of parliament to the high expectations of constituents regarding infrastructural development in their areas. The NCC's perspective comes in response to a request from the Public Engagement Department of Parliament for assistance. Now, Samuel Asare Kwamwa, the Deputy Chairperson of the NCC, stressed the importance of lawmakers being cautious in making promises during elections.
Campaign platform, they get carried away and they tell the electorate, the voters, all manner of things. They promise them everything, if possible, even bringing the sea to Kumasi or somewhere else in Tamale. You see, you do these things and you think when you get elected, they will not chase you. They will chase and harass you. And sometimes when you go out there to tell the people about what the MP is expected to do, some of them get offended sometimes that you are undermining them because you tell them that is not the work of the MP. The MP doesn't do that. These things that you are expecting, go to the district assembly, talk to your assembly member. It is not the MP. The MP goes to the district assembly, he is just an ex-official member there. If you talk to him, you expect him to go and build, to come and build, is it the writing desk in these classrooms and things like that? It's beyond them. And they tell you they also have a fund. What is it? MP's Common Fund. So now some of them will tell you are undermining their authority because they are also development agents. But they get harassed. They get harassed. People want them to pay school fees. People want them to even pay for the naming of their newborns and things like that. Funerals and things like that. Why would people do that? And so I know now most of our MPs, especially those in parliament now, the reality has dawned on them and they themselves feel harassed and they will cooperate with us to tell the people, the electorate, what is their mandate and to differentiate what is their mandate from what is other institutions' mandate so that we can have a thriving democracy.
Deputy Chairperson of the NCC, Samuel Asare Ekwamwa. Now, the Member of Parliament for Dododio, Edwin Nilanti Vanderpoy, has criticized the Minister of Defense, Dominic Nitiwo, for his remarks during a meeting with ECOWAS military chiefs in Ghana over a possible invasion of Niger. Dominic Nitiwo had urged the military chiefs to remain loyal to their heads of state, considering recent uprisings in West African countries. However, Neil Vanderpoel expresses disapproval of this admonition in an interview with Citi News.
The defense minister is living in the world of the ages ago. Contemporary politics and world international security has moved from regime security to state security. The Minister of Defense is actually speaking and laying bare what they have done for some time now as a government. Regime security. All their interest is how to protect Nana Akufo-Addo and the corrupt MPP regime, and not about state security. That's why they are just, filling up the security services with party people and not opening, making the recruitment into the security services transparent. The world over, chiefs of defense staff, army officers, and everybody who is appointed or recruited into the security agencies don't owe allegiance to the head of state. They owe allegiance to the state and the constitution. The security heads swore an oath to the constitution to defend the constitution of Ghana and to defend the people and the territorial integrity of Ghana. They don't swear allegiance to defend the head of state. So it was unexpected of our defense minister, unless he has no knowledge about the trends of international security now, to advise the CDSs of various West African countries to be loyal to the heads of state. It's very unexpected, and I don't expect that from him at this level.
All right. That was Member of Parliament for Dodo Edwin Nilanti Vanderpoel.
Now, some food suppliers have called on the buffer stock company, National Buffer Stock Company Limited, to pay their outstanding debt for supplies made. This comes after the suppliers had suspended their protest a month ago when payment for their arrears began. However, only half of the arrears from 2022 were settled, leaving the remaining balance for that year and payment for supplies made in 2023 still pending, following the expiration of the August 17 deadline or date given for the second tranche of payment to be made. The suppliers have returned to the premises of the company to demand the settlement of the outstanding payments. Now, let's speak to Kweku Amedume, spokesperson for the National Food Suppliers Association, and let him, so he tells us really why the payments is stalled, whether they've had any engagement with the employers, etc. Hello, good evening, Mr. Amedume. Welcome to Eyewitness News. About a month ago, we thought that you were fined. I mean, you had suspended your protest at the place, and we also understood that payments were made to you. Now you are returning to the place again. What has been the arrangement between you and the company?
I'd like to say good evening to you and your viewers and listeners. Yes, if you remember, when we picketed the last time, government was able to raise 100 million to be dispersed to the members, and with the promise that they were going to get us the balance on the 17th of this month, which fell on yesterday. So what happened was that members approached Buffer Stock yesterday to inquire about how far the money is, how far are they prepared, how they have been preparing to settle us. So when they were told that they were also preparing to get in touch with us to have a meeting with us today. So if we could go and come back to the office today. So of course today we went into a meeting with them, and the information was that Ministry of Education has released 80 million Ghana cedis to be disbursed to the suppliers. That would bring up the total payment for 2022 to 180 million Ghana cedis, representing about 85% of the total arrears owed suppliers in 2022. So it means that we are left with a balance of 15% to be given. Notwithstanding that 2023, we still have arrears of 2023 with Buffer Stock. That is ranging up to a little over 300 million. That they have promised to do something about it in 2 weeks to come. when they come back with our balance of 15%. So we actually went to Bufferstock today to ask of information on how and when we're going to get paid as they have promised as the last time.
I see. So government owes you about 300 million, paid some 100 million before you guys suspended your action, and you went with the promise to begin paying the next tranche from the 17th. You go there on the 17th, and then you heard that they have raised 80 million cedis to settle the next tranche. That should be good news, shouldn't it?
Of course, we consider it as a good news, even though we've not been paid interest on the money. Our money has been in debt for two solid years, almost 2 solid years, and we have lost some value of the money. But we cannot say we don't appreciate what they have done, what the media yourself have done, given us the platform. We've been able to make a lot of noise, if I'm permitted to call it so, and we've gotten something out of the noise we've made. So we can only be grateful that the duty bearers have performed what they have undertaken to do. And so we can only be grateful. It's a good news. We hope that the promise of settling the remaining 15% and the 2023, which is also over 300 million, I think we hope that they'll be able to fulfill that promise, as it were.
Very well. So the 2023 hasn't ended yet, and you say government owes you about 300 million already?
Little over 300 million. That has not been settled yet.
But are you still supplying to government?
Yes. Now the supply is such that it's the Ministry of Education that is doing the supply through commodity exchange, and they have disengaged most of our members from the supply, and it's only few companies who are doing it through commodity exchange. And that explains why there are shortages in the schools, and we're not getting foodstuffs, especially in the northern parts of this country. It's not getting all the food supplies because most of these supplies have been disengaged. A new crop of suppliers have been engaged through the Ministry of Education, and that explains it. But we hope that our members will be willing to continue if they've been given some money this time round. It all depends on the individual suppliers. Having experienced what they experienced, we hope that if they agree to do this time, government should be able to come forth with all the promises or all the clauses under the contract, ensure that these people are paid. A modality is adopted when some small money is given. A modality is adopted as to how that money is distributed equitably among them, so it doesn't bring confusion. And also that Ministry of Education should try to iron out its differences or its disagreement with Bufferstock, so that two of them can work hand in hand to ensure that 3SHS remains a success story or a bargain right for the government.
I see. Thank you so much. We can only wish you all the best, and we hope that you resume the supply so that our children and brothers and sisters in the senior high schools will not be starved. Thank you so much, Kuku Amedume, spokesperson for the National Food Suppliers Association, for speaking to us. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akusia has more stories.
Private legal practitioner and former NPP Deputy General Secretary is calling for the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, and other senior police officers to be jailed for alleged contempt of court. Nana Obri Buahin claims that the IGP and his officers have blatantly disregarded a court judgment regarding a piece of land he owns. He alleges that the police, under the instructions of the IGP, are harassing his agents working on the land in Sunyani. Nana Obri Buahin filed a writ to address what he sees as lawlessness by the IGP.
When I sent my boys to the site, they were being harassed, bullied, and intimidated by police officers. So I took one police officer to court. Eventually, I had judgment. I prepared the entry of judgment. The IGP was served with the entry of judgment. And the police officers, the regional police commander, and others were served. That notwithstanding the service of all these processes, Consistently, they have been harassing, bullying, intimidating, molesting when I send people to the land. In fact, I've written several letters to them, warn them that if indeed you people think that it is a police land, refer the matter to the Attorney General's office. It is not the responsibility of some policemen to be going around harassing, bullying, intimidating innocent people who are working on the land. But I see a common boundary with some farmers from Shimane. They are also suffering the same fate. And the light of that is why I filed this application to the High Court to commit the Inspector General of Police to prison. And that is a blatant exhibition of indiscipline and lawlessness.
Meanwhile, Nana Obri-Boahing has urged the IGP to use legal processes to redeem the land.
If government has acquired that land, you are supposed to produce an executive instrument. It's pure and simple. Produce an executive instrument. The government of Ghana has the right to acquire a property for public use. When the government passes an executive instrument, then legally, government has acquired that land. Until there's a passage of an executive instrument, you cannot be resorting to machoism to do whatever we like. That is a blatant exhibition of indiscipline.
Is this what you've been told, that the police are saying that the land has been acquired by government for use by the police?
That is what they are saying. If the land has been acquired, fine. Bring the executive instrument, pay compensation. Then advocate. You know, the law is that if government wants to acquire a property for public use, in the public interest, the Constitution of Ghana says that once the land is acquired, compensation must be paid. It should be prompt and it should be adequate. That is all.
Obri-Boahing is a private legal practitioner and former Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. Now, the Ghana Traditional Council has announced a ban on funerals in the Greater Accra region from October 15 to October 29. This decision is part of the preparations leading up to the funeral of the late Gamanye Na Dede Omai Drew III, who passed away in December 2022. Ambassador Sylvester Parker Alute, Chief Protocol of the Office of the Gamanche, says additional measures will also be implemented as the burial rites of the late Gamanye is scheduled to begin on October 23.
From the 15th of October, no funerals will be allowed in the region. No funerals, because we have to observe that 2-week period, 15th to 29th, for only the rites leading to the proper farewell for the Queen Mother. So no funerals will take place. Then there will be no installation of any office holder, traditional office holder anywhere, no installation till after the funeral. So these are some of the restrictions. But in the week of the burial, there will be additional measures which we'll put out very soon in the press. The additional measures will include a period when shops and commercial activities will be stopped. And then also there are certain streets which will be closed.
Ambassador Sylvester Parker Alute's Chief Protocol at the Office of the Gamanche.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, a low burst line, a little tight by the hips, covered sleeves, off shoulder, definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello?
My guy, tonight what's up? What be the agenda?
Bro, we enter now. We go pick level for 1957 bar. Then we go pre-game for Usu. After we fit enter streets, hit Ali bar, then jam for some other side. But not necessarily in order. Last we will take the last show enter club.
More options in order.
You know see, but today be you the pay.
Oh, you don't get problem. As I get Express Pay.
With all your wallets and cards in one place on Express Pay, you get to chill and casa with no worries. Send money, pay bills, and transact effortlessly. Our 24/7 customer care is always available to assist you. Download Express Pay and enjoy life with the option of all options.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News and Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akosi Aocho. Let's settle for the details. The Car Rental Association of Ghana is appealing to the government to waive taxes on its services because of their impact on businesses. The association argued that the Road Traffic Act 2004 exempted domestic transport operators from paying 15% VAT, contrary to the maintenance of 15% VAT, 12.5% NHIL levy, 5% Get Fund levy, and 1% COVID-19 levy charged on car rental services. Delivering his address at the swearing-in of new executives of the association, the immediate past president of the association, Seth Yeboah Okran, asked the government to urgently deal with the concerns.
Despite the total exemption offered to other domestic transport operators in the country, the Act in effect seems to discriminate against the car rental operators, which places the car rental operators at a disadvantage. The imposition of this tax has diverse effects on our car rental enterprise, leading to elevate high pricing compared to our competitors within the sub-region and make Ghana expensive to visit. It is a critical situation that requires the immediate attention. We are calling on the authorities concerned to rectify the inadvertent omission and properly categorize, classify the licensed car rental operators.
Seth Yeboah Okran is the immediate past president of the Car Rental Association of Ghana. Let's hear from the new president of the association, Michael Sapong, who also backed this position for the government to abolish some taxes.
My priority is to work and bring everybody on board and to help them to understand how important it is for them to be part of the association and for us to work towards the common cause, because we drive tourism. If we are united, we're able to put our case across. I was explaining that indeed, when you take flight from Kumasi to Accra, you don't pay VAT on it. When you take VIP from Kumasi to Accra, you don't pay VAT on it. When you take STC to Tamale, you don't pay VAT, you only pay the original. But when you come to car rental to rent a car, government is asking us to pay 21%, which we charge the customer. It makes our business very expensive. So all the transport system, government doesn't ask them to pay VAT, but us, we are charging 21%. That is taking us from our business.
That was Michael Sapong. He's the new president of the Car Rental Association of Ghana. And President Akufo-Addo has reiterated his government's continuous support in addressing the high unemployment rate confronting the country. According to the president, the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program has been directed to offer technical advice and support to entrepreneurs who are making strides in this field. President Akufo-Addo spoke at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program 5th presidential pitch.
The National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program will continue to serve as the key catalyst in realizing the vision of building an inclusive, integrated, innovative, and conducive ecosystem for entrepreneurs in the country, focusing on the provision of business development services, businesses incubations, capacity building, mentoring, funding, and access to market linkages for all youth-owned businesses. Government will continue to help fashion a supportive environment to enhance entrepreneurship and enterprise development. The award packages for this year's competition have been increased to reflect the upward increment in the cost of goods and services. Government is earmarking 2.5 million CDs for the top 30 contestants.
That was President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And players in the upstream petroleum production have been encouraged to be strategic in attempts to invest in production reserves that churn out carbon emission. This follows calls for African countries to move from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Dennis Jeyiri is the Natural Resource Governance Institute's Senior Africa Programs Officer.
Those that have already produced and have made a lot of money from producing fossil fuels have enough money to invest in diversifying. Those of us that are just starting to produce, the new producers, do not have enough money. And so you should rather be careful how you invest the little that you have already gained, rather than continuing to invest blindly in upstream projects that may not break even. Remember that the automobile companies that you are citing, for instance, are certain targets. Around 2030, 2035, most of these countries that these NOCs are operating in are looking to shift totally to electric vehicles. If they do, remember our crude oil is exported to such countries to be refined and brought back. If they decide that they are not going to refine, and refineries are actually shutting down, if the refineries decide to shut down, where are you going to export the crude oil to? Now, if you also decide to establish your refinery locally, we should be careful that others are also investing similarly. And how competitive will you be if you decided to go the way of investing? So we are saying that the point really in all of this discussion is to ensure that we are weighing our risks, we are looking at our opportunities and taking advantage of the opportunities.
Dennis Jeyiri is the Senior Africa Programs Officer of the Natural Resource Governance Institute. Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has called for a sustained effort by stakeholders in making the sector more competitive to propel economic growth. Speaking at a business forum here in Accra, the CEO of the chamber, Mark Bedu-Abuaje, emphasized the need to leverage on the potential in the sector.
I think that if we really want to develop our economy, to create right jobs, to increase our GDP, in order not to also to stress more, let's look at the services sector. And I think if you're able to do that, we'll be able to rapidly change the structure of the economy. Because I've seen the difficulty in developing the industrial sector. And if we have advantage to develop the service sector, let's do that, because a lot of the developed countries have moved forward when it comes to industrialization, and they have advantage over us. So the ones that we can quickly catch up, let's work on it. And the service sector is now the bedrock for every sector, even within the agricultural sector, within the manufacturing sector, because IT everywhere is now driving the economy. So if you are doing agric, now you are not doing the normal agric, but you are adding certain form of services in terms of IT into it. So the potential is there, but we can only benefit when we develop that. But the major beneficiaries of trade are those who add value to the raw things that we have.
Mark Bedu-Abuaje is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce. The Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Dr. John Ofori-Tinkran, has expressed optimism in achieving the targets set for 2023. During an interview at a SNIT Employers Breakfast meeting in Koforidua, he says SNIT is working towards expansion and inclusion of entrepreneurs.
We have certain employers who, either because of lack of understanding of the benefits that SNIT provides, or just sheer diabolics, after being prompted several times, fail, I wouldn't even use the word refuse, but fail to remit their contributions to SNIT. For such employers, we engage them and we remind them that the times, these are the terms of payment and these are the consequences. And if after several promptings they are still not doing their satisfying their obligations as under the law, then we had no choice but to hold them before the law courts and for the law courts to compel them to pay. And it's because of those prosecutions, so to speak, that has gotten us to retrieve some 150 odd million Ghana cedis through the half year. That last year we retrieved over 200 million Ghana cedis.
Dr. John Ofori-Tinkran is the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT. Well, that's all for City Business News and Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Akosia Otre. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX. ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
On Point Blank, the ECOWAS defense chiefs who have been in Accra deliberating on their intervention in Niger have concluded their meetings. A while ago, they addressed the press on the way forward. Ambassador Abdel Fattah Musa, who is the ECOWAS Commissioner for Peace and Security, addressed the press. Let's listen to him.
Excellency Chief of Defense Staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Chair of the ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff, Excellency Chief of Defense Staff of Ghana, the host, country, and a member of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff. Chiefs of Defense Staff of our member states here present and their delegations, colleagues from the ECOWAS Commission. I would also want to add my voice to that of the chair of the committee in expressing our sincere gratitude, to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, his government, and the peace-loving people of Ghana for the very warm welcome and the wonderful, facilities that they, put at our disposal today to enable us to come to, this a very fruitful end to our 2 days of deliberation. Gentlemen of the press, as the chair of the Chiefs of Defense Staff said, ECOWAS is a rules-based organization. That is the most important thing. And that member states have signed up to certain obligations, which means they cede part of your sovereignty to the collective good, that is of ECOWAS. And I'm talking about their various national constitutions, which they must not flout and which the junta in Niger has flouted, and it is the ECOWAS instruments, in particular the mechanism and also the supplementary protocol on democracy and good governance. So all we are doing is to make sure that Niger gets back to rule-based governance in that's all. The planning mission we started on the 2nd of March of August has come to an end today. We've already agreed and fine-tuned what will be required for the intervention, the strategic lift capacity, what the strategic objectives are, equipment needed, commitment of member states, which was very, very, very encouraging. All member states of ECOWAS present here today have all committed elements. They have committed their own equipment. They have committed their own resources to undertake this mission. So I tell you, we are ready to go anytime the order is given. The D-Day is also decided, which we are not going to disclose. There will be no more meetings of the Chiefs of Defense Staff. If there will be, it will be probably in the course of the operation if there is a need to adjust the operation. This is the second extraordinary meeting and the final meeting before deployment. That is what we want to, inform you about, and that as soon as our heads of state and government are satisfied with the report that has been presented, our troops across the region are ready, and they are ready to call, respond to the call of duty of the region. We are not against the Republic of Niger. We have said, just as the chief of the committee, the chair of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff has just said, that all the options are on the table. And as we speak, we are still readying mediation mission into the country. What we want to, inform you about, and that as soon as our heads of state and government are satisfied with the report that has been presented, our troops across the region are ready, and they are ready to call, respond to the call of duty of the region. We are not against the Republic of Niger. We have said, just as the chief of the committee, the chair of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff has just said, that all the options are on the table. And as we speak, we are still readying mediation mission into the country. So we've not shut any door. We've not shut any door at all. The sanctions are also on the table. And if they respond favorably, to the request by the authority of heads of state for dialogue, we are ready to accept. All we are saying is that we are not going to engage in endless dialogue. It must be fruitful, and its objective must be the restoration of constitutional order in the shortest possible time possible. In the shortest possible time. We are also calling for the release of the legitimate president of the Republic of Niger, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum, and his family, and members of his government who are being held hostage, by the regime in Niger. This is our message, to them, that our doors are open, but we are not going to engage in endless dialogue. That is why we say all options are on the table. If they want to take the peaceful pathway to very early restoration of constitutional order in the country, then we can stand down the military option, because it is not our preferred option. But we are being obliged to do it because of the intransigence and the obstacles, intransigence of the regime and the obstacles they've been putting in the way of a negotiated settlement to the restoration of constitutional order. This is our message, and I don't think we are deploying. I cannot even answer that. That is left to the chair of the Committee of Chiefs of Defense Staff and the colleagues who have that. It is an operational tool, that we don't disclose it. So we hope you are not going to ask that question. All I can tell you is that we are ready, equipment-wise, the political will of the countries involved, all of them around this table. And resources required, our own resources. And I would want finally to tell you that ECOWAS is doing this in defense of its principles. Those who are misinforming the public that ECOWAS is being teleguided or being directed by this power or that power, they are missing the point completely. And that all our interventions in the past, no external power urged us to do it. We did it ourselves, and this is no different. So we are doing it for ourselves, by ourselves, and for posterity. In the ECOWAS sub-region, we want to get back to constitutional normalcy. And the decision is that the coup in Niger is one coup too many, for the region. And we are putting a stop to it at this time. We are drawing the line in the sand, and that is it. I thank you very much for your attention.
Now, question and answer. All to be directed to the Commissioner. Okay, who's first?
Thank you. In this era of global economic crisis, how does ECOWAS intend to fund the military operation, and have you considered the humanitarian crisis if the intervention is protracted? Thank you.
No, thank you. You see, it is because of the current global crisis that we feel that the junta should not have taken the action that they have taken. The people of Niger are already suffering under the double threats of terrorism and also the global downturn in the economies of almost all countries. So in the first place, they should have not done that in order to attract ECOWAS sanctions to add to the suffering of the people, which was not the intention of the ECOWAS authority, but actually as to have the leverage to get them to do the right thing. If you tell me about the challenges in the country, we cannot talk about economic integration, development, providing livelihood for our populations without ensuring a peaceful environment. And what they have done in Niger is not providing a peaceful environment. So we need to sacrifice somehow in order to move. So the global downturn in the economy should not be an excuse for ECOWAS to be silent. When we know that what is happening in Niger could have even more devastating consequences on the economies of our, countries. On the humanitarian question, right from the very first planning meeting, one of the things we took into account was the potential humanitarian consequences of any intervention. And we have, taken measures to make sure, that it does not become, unbearable in the region. We know that there are about 700,000 refugees, Nigerian refugees in Niger, from other countries, like Chad and then other places. Okay, we are not going into Niger, if it comes to that, to wage a war. We are going there to restore constitutional order. Whether you are going to make the humanitarian situation worse depends upon the reaction of the regime. If they really care about their populations, then I think they have to, have the presence of mind to make sure that they return to ECOWAS protocols. That is the minimum that we are requiring. But if the West come to the West and there is humanitarian consequences to what we are going to do, our planning, our planning has taken into account all that. And, we've got a partner who are already working in the region on the humanitarian front, whether it is in Burkina Faso, whether it is in Mali, whether it is in Niger and other places. And the thing is that we are going to add to all that, to what we are doing. Let me just tell you one thing. Until this coup occurred, ECOWAS was on the cusp of activating the ECOWAS standby force in kinetic mode, help these member states in the fight against terrorism. We were going to set up a counter-terrorism force. The budget had been agreed. It was just the activation that we were waiting for. And then we had this big distraction. You see, so that is the problem that this coup has added to the intentions of ECOWAS. We were going in because we've seen that terrorism defines our conflict environment in West Africa today, and in particular in the the Litako-Gourma triangle, made up of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And we were already working to go and then make sure that ECOWAS raises a force to help them fight terrorism. And then they now organize a terrorist attack against their own president in the country. This is where we are. So nothing is going to deter us. I don't think that we should use the 10 and other to be an excuse to do nothing. We are ready to act. And I think that is the message we want to pass across.
Thank you, Ambassador Musa. We will have the next and final question. Okay, thank you very much, Commissioner. Given that some member states already have security issues, do we have capacity to ensure that we get the number of security personnel we need for this all-important exercise? Thank you.
I didn't get that. Can you repeat it? Because I didn't get the full question.
Does ECOWAS have capacity, given that many of its military member states are already dealing with internal security in their countries?
Yeah. What we are going to do in Niger is part of helping the member states to deal with the security situations in their countries, right? When you are talking about this security situation, probably the first that comes to mind is that of terrorism. Okay, terrorism in Burkina Faso, terrorism in Mali, terrorism in Niger, and a few other, places. The region is also plagued by intercommunal tensions and violence. which are also caused by many other factors, even climate change as part of them, and instrumentalization of identity by many of these nefarious forces like the two Al-Qaeda, terrorist Islamic jihadist franchises, whether you're talking about Islamic State franchise or the Al-Qaeda franchise in the region, which have added an impetus to that. So what we are doing, is to free the military to concentrate on their primary responsibility in Niger, and that is making sure they fight terrorism, which defines the security landscape in Niger today. Since the coup, in fact, there has been an uptick in terrorist attacks. Just a couple of days ago, about 25 soldiers, including, I think, 3 officers, were killed in a terrorist attack. Niger had not experienced that for months in the country. So we see an uptick, in that. We see signs of restlessness among some of the ethnic groups in the country, the Tuaregs and then the others. So these are the, challenges that we are facing. And if we don't return the country to constitutional order and then make sure that the military in the country focuses on its primary responsibility, that is the defense of the territorial integrity of Niger, then we are adding to the insecurity. That's the logic, of it. So our going into Niger, like I said, we are not declaring war on Niger. People should be very clear about that. Many people are putting the emphasis on the military option. We have repeated time on end, that all the other options are there. And like I said, tomorrow, there is the possibility of an ECOWAS mission going into Niger to continue to pursue the peaceful path.
Who is the Commissioner for Peace and Security for the ECOWAS sub-region, addressing the press at the end of their meeting here in Accra. Happened about some 45 minutes ago. This is how we conclude today's edition of Eyewitness News. Live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. Show's been produced by Nana Kobna Welsing, Beverly London, and Sami Wiafi. Technical assistance provided by Daniel Squashi. Social media by Edwin Kwakofi. Earlier you heard Akosi Ochre. My name is Selom Adun. Catch me at 9 a.m. tomorrow on The Big Issue as we discuss the topical stories or news stories for the week. Up next is Sports Panorama. Have a good evening.